Shalom everybody and welcome back to Insights in the Parsha of the Week, Parshat Re'eh. Wow, we're so close, it's just unbelievable. So close to Rosh Hashanah, Bezrat Hashem. The Parsha goes into many details. It's the beginning of the setting forth of the repetition of the laws called Mishneh Torah. And towards the beginning of the Parsha, Hashem gives many qualifications for being a Jew and for living in the land. The main qualification that Hashem requires for the Jews to successfully stay on the land, be in the Holy Land, and to serve Him, is they must abolish any trace of idolatry. No avodah zarah. Entering the land, they must prepare the land to be a vessel for the holiness of serving Hashem through Torah and mitzvot in the Holy Land. And that can't be done if there is active idol worship, which is the exact opposite of serving Hashem, that is prominent and existing in the Holy Land. So we take a look towards the beginning of the Parsha. We're looking at chapter 12, verse 1, 2, and we want to get to verse number 3. So let's just go quickly through verses 1 and 2 in chapter 12, and let's get to verse number 3. אלה החוקים המשפטים אשר תשמעון לעשות בארץ אשר נתן השם אלוקי אבותיך לך לרשתה כל הימים אשר אתם חיים על האדמה. These are the statutes and the laws that you must guard to do, to keep and follow in the land in which Hashem, the God of your fathers, will be giving to you to inherit all the days that you are living on the land. Okay? So foremost thing, verse number 2. First thing, abed ta'abedun et kol ha'mekomot asher avdu sham hagoyim asher atem yorshim otam et Elohehem. Destroy, you shall destroy. Abed, wipe out. Ne'evad, should be totally lost and wiped out. All the places in which the nations served, the nations who you are now inheriting them, their land, that they served and worshipped their gods, their foreign idols and gods. Where they're al harim haramim, on the high mountains, v'al givaot, or in the valleys, okay, or smaller hills, v'tachat kol etz ra'anan, and under any very luxurious trees, okay. So Hashem is commanding, first you have to wipe out idol worship. You can't have good flourish and be prevalent if there's a presence of bad. You have to wipe out the bad. And since this land, the Holy Land, is aimed totally for serving Hashem, you don't want to serve Hashem, so this is not the place to be. This is not the Holy Land, somewhere else, but not here. Here, this place is designated to connect to Hashem. It's the land that Hashem is giving to the Jewish people in order to serve Him properly on this land, because we're human beings, we occupy matter, so we need a place to live, to eat, to exist. So that's the Holy Land. And while here, to serve Hashem. So if that's the case, there's no room here in this Holy Land for any idolatry, especially of the nations who were there before that you're kicking out and now coming in to occupy, to be the servants of Hashem in this land. So 5 rules. Verse number 3. Number 1. V'nitatztem et mizbechotam. You have to take apart, hatatza, to break and destroy, to break up their altars. Rashi explains that a mizbeach, an altar, is made of a collection of stones, many stones together, and once complete, that makes an altar. It's not one big giant stone, but it's many tiny stones put together to make an altar. So that in that term applies the word netitza, because it's made of many stones that were grouped together and cemented together. Now you have to crack that and smash that and separate the stones until it's not existing again. That's number 1. Number 2, v'shibartem et matzevotam, and you must break their matzeva. Rashi points out, a matzeva is also an altar but made from one solid stone. It's called, he says in the wording of the rabbis in the Mishnah, it's called a bimos. Bimos is a type of altar made from one rock, one solid rock. It's chiseled, of course, to make it nice and whatever. That's an altar made from one solid rock. Hashem's commanding. Number 2, you have to break that. Any altar you find from the idol worshippers who were there before you, so you have to break the mizbeach made from the many stones. Number 2, vishibartem, which is the word to break, to crack the solid stone of a solid one stoned altar. Number 3, Va'asherehem tisrefun ba'esh. Their trees, special trees, like a Christmas tree, lahavdil, right? That's probably it. Va'asherehem, their trees that they worship, tisrefun ba'esh, that you have to burn them in fire. It's a tree, and it's worshipped, so you can't let it exist as it is. It was worshipped. It was made into an idol, so it's enough to take off the decorations. You have to destroy the tree. Tisrefun ba'esh, burn it, okay? It's not a loss. There's many other trees that will grow and sprout again. It's not the end of the world if you destroy this tree, and it's especially that it was used for a forbidden, against Hashem will and devotion. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, ufsile Elohehem, and idols, actual idols that they made. Their pestles, their idols of idol worship. Tigadeun, cut them off, cut off their feet, because an idol normally is like an image of with legs and arms, whatever. So you have to cut off their legs, tigadeun, in order to abolish and break the power of the idol. You have to now cut off its legs of the actual idol made from stone, from wood, whatever. Ve'ibadetem et shema min hamakom hahu, and you must wipe out their name from this place. Hamakom hahu, referring to the Holy Land. Rashi explains, ibadetem et shemam, start making fun of the names of the idols. And he gives examples. Ein Kod, the all-seeing God. Ein Kotz, the eye that's a thorn and a thistle. So make fun of their names, okay? So these are 5 requirements on entering the land. First and foremost, clear the land. You can't serve Hashem properly if these idols are here. You have to get rid of the evil first, and then you can start building on the good. But get rid of the bad, that it's too bad, that it's not functioning for a Jew to do anything good as long as there's a bad presence. Just on the side note, in certain schools today, where they're trying to help children who are like off the derech, off the path, or kids who have addiction and everything, they see clearly that you cannot work with kids who have access to their smartphones, because they're all along addicted to it and they're stuck to it. You can't talk to them. So what's needed is there's a time span where they take away the smartphones, and then the child's head is open, and then you can talk to them and everything. That's this idea here. In order to be able to start building good, you have to push away and remove the bad. As long as the bad is there, you can promote good and everything, but it's not being heard because there's too much bad. You have to wipe off the bad, and then the good can have a place to flourish, to sprout, to exist, to have a continuity, to have momentum, etc. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this from the perspective of Rebbe Nachman's amazing lesson, lesson 24, Likutey Moharan, where Rebbe Nachman stresses, emphasizes how powerful it is to work on being happy, even going through the biggest difficulties and challenges, to get out, not to stay there. It's true, you fall into situations of sadness and depression and melancholy and tests to make you feel bitter and bad, but you're not meant to stay there. You're meant to work your way out, Bezrat Hashem. And it reveals, Rebbe Nachman, in total, summarizing 5 practical advices how a person can use to get up, Bezrat Hashem, after every fall, whether it's a combination of them or any one of them, or being patient for the time and the moment to activate any of them. They are, number 1, acting silly and telling jokes. Yes, to tell jokes, to be in a happy mood, even if it's not real, even if it's fake, but this happy mode can eventually bring you to true happiness, Bezrat Hashem. That's number 1. Number 2 is dancing, putting on music, clapping your hands, being besimcha, putting on a good vibe to get you in a good move, a feeling, Bezrat Hashem, good emotion. Number 3 is looking for your good points, which is not easy. Finding the good points, finding the good of every situation, finding the good, looking for the good points, You can look at the bad, but you can also look at the good. And even if you're looking at the bad and you feel bad because of the bad, at least remember the good, at least remember there's a good. And even if you're still falling, the fact that you gave some type of retort by saying subconsciously, but there's also good points. It's not as bad, not 100% bad. There's still good points. I'm not going to deny it. Even if you're still weighed down by the negativity, the fact that you were able to find good points gives you better chances of getting up Bezrat Hashem and starting again. Number 4 is to give thanks to Hashem. Hoda'ah, to give thanks. Once you find good, to give thanks, to appreciate it, to appreciate that it was a miracle. Thank you, Hashem. Where would I be now if I didn't have this happen? Thank you, Hashem. Thank you so much. Where would I be? It would be so much more miserable if it wasn't for this good. At least, todeh, give thanks. Admit the good. Give thanks for the good. Number 5 is connecting to the future joy. That knowing that in the end, the final end, when Hashem's final rectification of the world will come about, the final goal of this whole creation, everything's going to work out then. Everything is going to be in the will of Hashem like He wanted it to be. Bayom Ahu Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. In that day, Hashem and His name will be one. There will be no more difference of feelings of negativity and sadness. It will be all clear that everything was just good. Everything was amazing. So connecting in the present that you're going through such misery, to just let go and to reconnect to the future. That I know in the end it's going to work out. So I have a consolation that in the end it's going to work out. It's true I'm going through crazy things now, but I'm going to connect myself to the future. And by doing so, Rebbe Nachman teaches in another lesson 250, that you can actually draw salvation from the future salvation to the present by connecting to the future and thinking about the future and focusing there and trying to put yourself in the future, and then coming back with this attitude and this light into the present, bringing healing to the present situation. These are the 5 ways, the fabulous 5 ways that Rebbe Nachman reveals of being happy. Okay? We can say that the main opening for idolatry, the main stupidity, the main foolishness, the main error that people fall into idol worship, and by extension, foreign, stupid, atheistic ideologies that take them away from serving Hashem, is only because people are not happy. They're not truly happy. They think they're happy. They try to be happy with worldly pleasures, but as we know, all worldly pleasures end up at a dead end. There's no true happiness. And because people are so connected to their lusts and desires, running after this empty happiness, they're willing to throw everything for that sake. And this is probably, and most probably, the main reason, the main catapult, the main thrust that pushed people back then, and even today, to idolatry and foreign ideologies. That a person doesn't want to be truly honest with himself. He has strings attached. I want this also. I want truth, but I want also sheker. I want to have a connection to this world. I have vanities. I have desires. I want to have all my pleasures, my sexual pleasures and this. I don't want to let go of that. So give me some type of truth that can make me be with that. People who are angry and not happy with themselves, so they vent it out on murder, on others, on hatred and everything. And it's also a way out. They're not happy with themselves, so they try to vent it out with a very crooked perspective, causing hatred and animosity, etc. All this is due to a lack of true joy and simcha. We can make a conclusion, and Rav Nosson writes this pretty clearly in the Likutey Moharan, that idolatry is due to a lack of true, genuine joy. True, genuine joy is when a person feels connected to Hashem, their Creator, and they're doing mitzvot that allow them to do the will of Hashem. There's no greater joy than that. Pekudei Hashem yesharim mesamchei lev. The commandments of Hashem are straightforward, honest, truthful, and they bring joy to the heart. Whereas everything else in this world is empty. We know that. Some people run after this world. It's known this world in itself is darkness. It's empty. It's vanity. So for sure, a person will end up with a dead end. So again, the cause for idolatry is, or a person gets stuck in a dead end, and he tries to find an avenue, he can't. So he goes to other avenues of falsehood to try to appease and console himself, but not helping, and just adding more fuel to the fire. Or initially, they say, I can't detach from this stuff. I want this stuff. So I want a perspective that will allow me to enjoy the vanities of this world, even if it's empty, but I can't give them up. I want to be attached to my vanities. Okay? This is the root of idolatry, a lack of simcha. Okay? So Hashem in his command here gives a command of 5 types of destruction, of 5 levels of idolatry, and we can deduce and trace that each type of idolatry is paralleling a lack of joy, which led to the idolatry in the first place, and which the Jewish people who are representing that joyous connection to Hashem are here to establish and solidify the positive connection, which is the opposite of these 5. Which is why Hashem is commanding the Jewish people specifically, destroy these 5 types of idol worships, because you guys represent this simcha, which is the exact antithesis of these 5 types. So let's take a look in the verse again. It started number 1, if you remember. V'nitatztem et mizbechotam. You have to smash and break up their altars that they built from many stones. The idea of many stones, on the opposite side, is the idea of being able to give thanks to Hashem. Because when you take a look at your life, so many amazing things have happened. Like we say every Shabbos morning in Nishmat, Ilu finu maleh shira kayam, etc. Even if our mouth was filled with praise, like the sea, like the water of the sea, En anachnu maspikin lehodot lecha Hashem Elokeinu. We can't give enough in giving thanks to give you Hashem. It's not enough. Even if we're to give thanks, constantly praising, it won't be enough. And the reality is, when a person has a clear perspective of his life and sees how much kindness Hashem has done to that person, when you see other people who have fallen and you're still around and you wake up in the morning and you're still functioning, you're able to do mitzvot, and you begin to be in an appreciative attitude, there's so many things to be happy about, okay? And the opposite of that is a person who's a grouch for every tiny thing. This, that, and he's very negative and everything. So an altar of idolatry made from many stones is when a person is upset at so many things that led him to idol worship. So the many stones is the idea of complaining about so many things and then making an altar for idolatry against Hashem to a different direction because of his disappointment with life. I'm disappointed with this is not working, that is not working out. And the opposite of that is the thanksgiving, which also counters that, and that there's so much to give thanks to Hashem about. So the destroying of the Mizbeach, which is made from many stones, is the opposite. In other words, the counter to that is the idea of thanksgiving, which is many things. The first thing a Jew says in the morning is Modeh. The cup of the entire day is giving thanks to Hashem, and the whole day is filled with so many amazing things. So the person has a good perspective. He can see there's so much to be happy about and to give thanks to Hashem about, okay? The opposite of that is the Mizbeach made of many stones. That's number 1. Number 2, V'shibartem et matzevotam. You have to break their matzeva. The matzeva is 1 stone. 1 stone. What is the opposite of that? Finding 1 good point. Rebbe Nachman teaches, if you can't find a good point, then there's no purpose for you to live in this world. If you can't be happy with a little bit of good, then you're never going to be happy. He calls the good point od me'at, another drop of good, a little bit, another little bit. He calls every good point another. Why? Because when you find 1 good point, it ultimately leads to another good point. So it's called od. A good is called od, another. Because when you find 1 good, you see things are not as black as you thought, and you see something else good and something else good. And the good you're looking for is a little bit, me'at. Okay? So take a look. Rashi, quoting the sages, says this type of altar in Greek is called a bimos. Bimos, bet, yud, mem, vav, samech, is gematria 118. Bet is 2, yud is 10, mem is 40, vav is 6, samech is 60, 118, and 1 for the word equals 119. The gematria of me'at, a little bit, mem 40, ayin 70, tet 9, 119. Bimos is the antithesis of the good little point, the good point to be happy about. So the shibartem metzevotam, you the Jewish people who are filled with being able to find good points, That's why you stick out. That's why the Jewish people stick out. It's because Hashem gives us the ability to be happy in this exile, in this world, in the darkness of the world. We have what to be happy about. We have the tools and the weapons. So we, for more than anybody else, have to be happy with our good points, because the good points we have are connected directly to Hashem and His Torah and His mitzvot, etc. We have an eternal bliss of joy, B'ezrat Hashem. So to break the matzevot is because the nations who do build a matzeva, they're not happy with their little good point, right? We said they're not giving the mizbeach is for not giving thanks for so many things to be happy about, and then the one matzeva is even one good point they can't find, so they build one solid rock altar called the bimos, which is the matzeva in Hebrew. That you guys have to break, because your simcha is the antithesis of that type of idol worship. Number 3, Parshat Re'eh, the tree, the idol worshipping tree. You gotta burn it. Okay, the tree is like nice, presentable, green. It's like very presentable. It's like noticeable. And the tikkun for that, you have to burn. What's the idea of burning? Burning, like we explained in previous classes, is movement. When a person dances and claps his hands, he gets heated up for holiness. When a person is trying to get to simcha through dancing, hand clapping, music, all that activates a holy type of heat, which induces simcha, true simcha, okay? And now the Asherah is like a foreign type of wow, being impressed. It's a wrong type of impression, and that has to be burnt in fire, because fire also is movement. Fire burning is the parallel of holy heat. In other words, the heat of burning the idol is the rectification due to a lack of dancing and momentum and movement and happiness out of joy in serving Hashem. So this type of Asherah has to be burnt. The burning here is the idea of the momentum, showing the lack of simcha that let them make a nice tree and be impressed, be heated up, if you want to say, with this idol worship tree. Okay? That's number 3. Number 4, Ufsilei Elohehem tegadeu. This is a bit tricky. The idea of now, the idols that they made, to cut off their legs. The word of tegadeun means it won't be standing anymore. Something which is standing is considered long-lasting, and we say something which is standing is eternal, okay? By us, the eternal joy is the joy of the future, okay? That's standing. That will always be happening. We can always be happy no matter how black, if we can't find a good point, if we can't want to give thanks to Hashem because the situation is so bad, if we can't dance and be happy, so one thing we can always resort to is that I know that in the end, it's going to be good. Like that famous analogy we give of the famous picture of the Nazi cutting off the beard of the old Jew, the white beard of the old Jew, and the Jew smiling at the face of the Nazi. Why is he smiling? Because he knows you guys are going to pay for it in the end. In the end, the good will rise and you guys will be punished. So I'm smiling, laughing, because I will have the last laugh. That's the idea of the simcha of the future. That in the end, the bad will be punished, the bad will be purged, and the good will be elevated. B'ezrat Hashem. So the idea of an idol, the command is tigadea, cut off its horns, cut off the top. Tigadeon can also mean the top, lagadea, but also means to cut off their legs. The idol cut off the top and the bottom, meaning there's no goal, there's no ultimate purpose. It's just a piece of stone, a piece of wood. What is it? When you cut it to pieces, it's nothing left here. It's totally was just a piece of stone. What were you worshiping? We have something which is long-lasting, the ultimate good, which has standing and has strength, has a head, has feet. That you can't cut off. No matter how you try to hurt the Jewish people, our faith is eternal. Our connection to Hashem is eternal, and it's long-lasting, and I have what to be happy about. So this is the parallel to cutting off the idols, cutting off their legs, and also their tops. Ve'ibadatem et shmam, like Rashi says, you have to make fun of the names of the idols. Like we said, Ein Kol, Ein Kotz, the eye, all-seeing eye. The idol that's all-seeing, Ein Kotz, the thorn in the eye. You can't see anything. That's making fun of the idols. And the Jewish people have the right to do that because we have jokes, we tell silliness and jokes that bring us to true happiness. Our telling jokes and everything is for a purpose. It's like you go to a comedy stand-up show and he tells jokes, ha ha ha. You go back home and you're back to your depression. By a Jew, we can take silly jokes and then take that energy of fake happiness, fake it until you make it. You can fake it and then come to eventually what to really be happy about, to put you back on your feet. And our real happiness is serving Hashem. But to get to it, many times, most of the time, we have to resort to silliness and acting funny. And this idea of making jokes and making fun, ibaditem et shemam, ruin their name, give them a bad name, tell jokes, make fun of their names of the idols. This is the parallel of telling jokes, B'ezrat Hashem. And all this, mina makomahu. You must remove it from this place. He calls the Holy Land makom. Makom is a term for Hashem. Hashem is called Mekomo Shel Olam. Ve'in ha'olam Mekomo. Hashem is considered the place of the universe. And it's not that Hashem is found in the universe. Rather, the universe is within Hashem. So Eretz Yisrael has an amazing merit in that it's granted by Hashem the name Makom. To show you that a Jew who lives, who connects to the Holy Land, is connecting to Hashem's infinite light itself. His infinite his presence. Blessed be He. And all this has to be removed. The idols, the five levels of idols have to be revealed in this place, because this is a place where we connect to Hashem. And the way we connect to Hashem is through simcha. And we can't have these idols present, which are the antithesis of simcha and serving Hashem. That's why they must be destroyed. And once being destroyed, then we can serve Hashem with joy and connect to Him b'simcha. We should be zoche to use this in our life, to activate the 5 types of happiness, and to realize and recognize that joy is something that a person should strive to work on. It's not a means, but it's a goal. Shabbat Shalom Barach.